Democrats are making their final push across Pennsylvania today, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg is joining us now on Fox 43. Mayor, what is left to tell voters across Pennsylvania that hasn't been told to them already?
You know, the arguments have been made, the campaigns have been run. The most important thing right now is to get out there and vote. We have an opportunity to put an end to the chaos, the cruelty, the division, the pandemic. We've got so many crises facing us as a country, and I believe passionately that we need a new president in Joe Biden. If you believe the same thing, we're really counting on you to get out there and vote. And, you know, the polls might look good for Joe Biden right now, but those are just numbers unless we actually get out there and have voices heard at the ballot box. Millions have voted early, but some folks haven't got that vote in yet. This is your chance, your last chance to make that difference.
And we know Pennsylvania has been really important to both campaigns here. Where in particular has been most important when you look at 2016 compared to now, where voter turnout is critical for Democrats today?
Well, it's really every part of the Commonwealth. You know, one of the things that I saw the other day when I was campaigning in Western PA was how many different kinds of communities there are. I know the same is true around Harrisburg. You got cities. You've got rural areas that have so much at stake, whether you're directly in agriculture or you're in areas that deserve better broadband and infrastructure. You got suburbs and suburban communities that maybe historically have leaned conservative, but seeing the way this president has treated people and talked about women and talked about those who served in the military, people are viewing it differently this time around. That's where we expect to continue to see a lot of Republicans switching over. So one of the things that I think makes Pennsylvania such an important and such a fascinating place is that every different kind of community is represented across the Commonwealth.
In 2016, it seemed as if the working class voter along the entire Rust Belt, not just Pennsylvania, but Michigan, Wisconsin, was forgotten in a way by the Democratic Party. What has changed since then? Why would this time around be different for Democrats?
Well, you know, I'm from a working class community, Northern Indiana, very industrial heritage around here. I would say two things have changed. First of all, our party recognizes that we can't leave one vote on the table and has been campaigning, as you've seen, so energetically for working families. But the other thing that's changed is results. You know, a lot of folks, I think, were ready to vote for anything that looked like a big change, even if that meant a guy like Donald Trump. But now, we've had 4 years to see what he was actually going to do. Manufacturing went down on his watch even before we went into the pandemic. The pandemic has turned our lives upside down. And his main economic policy was to cut taxes for the wealthy and corporations, while the rest of us saw services threatened. Now he's in court trying to get rid of Affordable Care Act protections like pre-existing condition coverage. So you can't argue with the results, and the results tell us that we need new leadership. I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing so many of those voters and families that flipped last time ready to flip back, alongside a lot of lifelong Republicans who are also switching over, saying, hey, I'm conservative, but this president doesn't speak for me, and it's time for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Is the Democratic Party doing anything in particular to get them back, or is the hope from the party that what has happened over the last 4 years is enough to get them back?
Well, you really see it in our message. You remember in the last presidential debate, Joe Biden talking about that experience at the kitchen table, which of course is an experience he knows. The president mocked him for it. He just doesn't have that same personal connection to a working class or middle class experience. So, you know, when you hear Joe Biden talk about kind of the difference between the Scranton perspective and the Park Avenue perspective, this is what he's talking about. And I think that's one of the reasons he's pulling ahead.
With the benefit of hindsight, what should the campaign have done over the course of the last couple months differently?
Well, you know, afterwards we get the results. We'll have an after-action report like we always do, and learn. You know, campaigns, including the Biden-Harris campaign, have had to really develop a whole new kind of campaigning because of the pandemic. I know the president just his approach is to just pretend it's not a problem and campaign just the same. But we knew it was important to show respect for the health and safety of our supporters, and I think we'll be learning a lot of lessons about how to do a mix of in-person campaigning and virtual campaigning, what to do things like these car rallies, lessons that are going to stay with us even when the pandemic has run its course.
Mayor Pete Buttigieg on Fox 43. Thank you so much, Mayor, and have a happy Election Day to you as well.
Thank you. Same to you. Thanks for having me on.